I'm going to run through a few pointers on trimming a boat. It's vital that you actually learn how to do this correctly. It'll save you a lot of money and fuel and invariably a lot of wear and tear on your outboard motor. Now initially when we're sitting in the water and we're going to take off, we call that the hole shot. And the faster that you can get out of that water, the less fuel you will consume. That's when the most strain is being put on your engine and you're at full throttle. It's not going anywhere very quickly, it's digging in, so we need to be able to maximise our ability to get out of the water quickly. So I'm going to run through a couple. First of all, I'll do a run through and show you what happens when you do a hole shot, and then we're going to talk about trim. At this point of time, I've got the engine trimmed completely down. It cannot go any further. And what will happen when I take off, the boat will naturally lift its bow up, the nose, will come up into the air. And as long as I've got that engine trimmed completely in, it should lay down very quickly. Now, once it has laid down and we've got a lot of keel line running in the water, we're going to have to trim it up some more so that we can increase our economy. As you can see, the nose of the boat's held right down, tight, and we get up on the plane very quickly. But with that nose laying down, economy's not what it should be. So what we need to do is trim it up a little bit. I'll give it another run, and you see the difference. What you would have noticed then was that the water coming off of the chine being this little part down here on the edge where it touches the water, was actually a lot further back. That means we've got less boat in the water. That means less drag, that means less fuel being used. That's pretty important. But what you would have also heard and probably seen was that with that engine trimmed up, we get a lot of aeration around the propeller and it starts to cavitate. So it's pretty important that you be aware that if you want to do those high-speed turns, that we can actually turn around, trim it down a bit for those turns, and then trim it back up when we've actually made the turn. As you saw by that last run past, the water coming off of the chine, which touches the water surface, was a long way back. That means there was less boat in the water, or the engine was consuming less fuel, and the steering was a hell of a lot lighter. So you really need to have it trimmed all the time for comfort and economy. Should you have the engine leg trimmed up too far and you try and get up onto the plane, what you'll find is that the nose of the boat stays up for a long period of time, the transom buries in. In some cases, in small dinghies, you might start taking water over the transom. So we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. I'll give you an example of what it looks like with too much leg out in the trim department. I've just taken off then with the trim of the leg right up, and as you can see, the nose of the boat stays up in the air an extraordinary amount of time. That equates to more wear and tear on the boat engine, but also more consumption of fuel. Fuel is money. So keep that engine leg trimmed in for takeoff. I'll show you how to do it properly. Well, there you have it. The boat stayed with the nose up into the air a minimal amount of time. I was quickly onto the plane. It was nice and easy. Once it was trimmed out after I got onto the plane, the steering was brilliant. It was nice and easy on the arm, and the engine running at the very best it can fuel economy wise.